Every great leader knows that they must be a really great example to the people that are leading them. And this is regardless if you are leading a group of children as a preschool teacher, that's how I started my career. If you're leading a family as a parent, if you're leading a sports team as a coach, or especially in this context, if you are leading in a company as part of the leadership team. And so today we're going to talk about a little more of a deeper subject. We call this the health of the leader, and I'm going to share a model right here with you. The health of the leader. And although I'm a big fan of staying physically healthy, eating right, exercising, getting tons of water, cutting out your sugar, like I could go on a soapbox about physical health, but today we're going to talk a little bit about a different type of health. So it starts with you as a leader having goals. And most of the leaders that I work with, they do have goals. And we're talking just here on a personal level for a little bit. But this right here represents your goal line from probably birth to death and where your goals lie on that line. Well, you could have had a goal when you were, 10 years old to make the soccer team. That was a goal. Later on, you had a goal to just graduate from high school. Some of you, I know, it was a little tough for you, tougher on some. But then you had goals to maybe graduate from college or open your first business. And now today, this is where you are. This represents today. This represents today. And there are future goals out here that you want to achieve. Some people call it a bucket list, but there's something that you want to do with your life. And most leaders have a few of those things out there. And if this line represents today, it's also going to represent our soul line. So this is your soul line. So now we have a goal line and a soul line. Now, as is true with most human experience, as we gain more experience, we become somebody. Sometimes we become somebody we don't want to be if you've had bad experiences. But we become somebody and our soul starts to grow. We grow as leaders. Now, sometimes I coach leaders who are stagnant. They're not growing as a leader. That's when you are in danger of being surpassed by your company. You're going to need to take a different seat because you can't grow. And so I'm always encouraging leaders to be on a personal development, a personal growth path. That's what I'm referring to as the soul line. Now watch what happens here. If you are a leader who's made it to this space in life where you're now on a leadership team, you've met maybe one of your goals, and your soul line is not very well developed and you have very low personal growth, let's just say you're right here. The way these two lines interact with each other is pretty clever. We like to think about perspective. So think about this maybe as climbing up a mountain of this soul line. How far can you go? And if you're right here to where you're still managing your life with fear, anger, resentment, worry, those are things that we point to as coaches or that we observe as coaches as being lower on the soul line. Well, if you're living in that space, you really can't see on the horizon very far. You can only see out a certain amount of time. On the other hand, if you have grown in your life to a point where you lead with creativity and optimism and love and that positive outlook on life versus fear, anger, resentment. This is fun, creativity, love, spirit, joy. If you have grown to a place where you can live here, where you choose to live here, you are naturally going to see farther out. And that's what I'm asking you to do as part of the leadership team. As a leader, I'm asking you in our sessions to see farther out, to see 10 years, to see 3 years, to see the possibility. When I notice that leaders are really stuck and really can't see any farther than a month, a quarter, sometimes just a week, I like to recommend that they start to try to grow in their soul line so that they can see a little bit farther. Now, this is incredible, and I love this model. But I was meeting with some visionaries the other day, and we came up with another part of the model that had not yet revealed itself to me, and this was pretty exciting. If you are right here on your soul line, and your perspective can only see into the future a little ways, guess what you also can only see just a little ways? The past. And so you look at the past as a failure, as something that was done to you. I was a victim of this, and you dwell on these little tiny details. Whereas, if you're here, you can see the past with much more perspective. Perspective. And this is what I'm talking about when I say the health of the leader. I know you have a goal line. How far up on the soul line are you? And how can you continue to increase and stay there more often? Gain some more perspective over the past to just see that it is scaffolding. It's lessons learned that we're going to use to build the future. And how much would it help you if you could have a much bigger perspective into the future when leading your people? I think it will help a lot.